Ironically, as soon as I make a tier list, another patch comes out, and so I'm going to be doing another one today, discussing all the Pokemon that got changed and where I think they'll go in the future. Obviously, we don't know exactly what this will do because we haven't played enough yet, but I think it's good to give you guys a rough idea of what this does to each Pokemon. Starting off with Hooper, which is staying in the exact same place as last time. They changed Trick so that it's increased the movement speed, which again doesn't really do anything because you would never use Trick when Hyperspace Hole is just so good. Again, in solo queue, in lower ranks, people just aren't going to be taking your portals. They're not going to be working together really. They're not going to be taking your portals to heal, nothing like that. So Hooper just isn't really great to play in solo queue or in the lower ranks of the game. Another one that I don't think really changed that much is Zoroark, and I'm going to put Aegislash in right now while I'm here. Again, just too hard really to use for new players, so they're going to stay in the same tier for my recommendations. Aegislash got a pretty decent buff, but Zoroark actually got a nerf, and so it would make it even worse anyway if you were trying to play him. So I'd just stay away from these Pokemon for now until you get a bit better at the game. Going to try and do this as fast as possible. Gyarados is going to stay in the exact same tier. They changed Aqua Tail, I think. I'm going to have a look again just to make sure. Yeah, they buffed Aqua Tail and Waterfall because that set in general just was underperforming massively. It just didn't really do anything, and so if you were playing Gyarados, you were playing Bounce, Dragon Breath, Gyarados. You weren't playing Waterfall, Aqua Tail. So the fact that they've buffed this build is pretty good for Gyarados. It's going to bring a lot of people to Gyarados. I would recommend it massively. It's a great Pokemon. Just get that Gyarados, play it in the lane, get your effort values as high as possible. You evolve quite quickly to possibly even level 4. Most of the time you'll evolve at level 5. If you want to do well in your games, I would definitely recommend Gyarados. He's very strong right now. Very good pick. Buzzwole is an interesting one. I'm going to make a new tier, the reason of Buzzwole, and also going to move a few Pokemon up that I feel are a bit better than A tier. So Buzzwole I feel will move possibly to A+. I still think it's going to be very good. Leech Life is still very strong. Lunge is just but the combo, the main attacks, I'll go through it again. Yeah, they've increased the cooldown of superpower. They changed how the muscle gauge works, so you can't really do the combo anymore. And SmackDown overall has just gotten a pretty decent nerf to the muscle gauge ability. It doesn't combo anymore. That combo in general just is not really a thing. It's still pretty good, still really strong pick. I think this might bump it down though to A+. Moving up to A+ is going to be Glaceon, Dragonite, Leafeon, Trevenant. All these Pokemon are very strong right now. I would even really move up Mewtwo X, but still kind of on the fence there. It's not amazing right now. It's still really, really good, but I wouldn't say it's in the top grade. One thing I would like to talk about is Blastoise did not get touched at all in this patch. It's still, in my opinion, basically the best Pokemon in the game. Really good defender. I made a whole video about it a few months back. Surf Hydro Pump, really good. Rapid Spin, Water Spout, really good. People are even running Rapid Spin and Hydro Pump now. There's so many things you can do with this Pokemon. You can play it central, you can play it in lane, you can play it as a full defender, you can play it as an all-rounder. It's absolutely fantastic. Play Blastoise. If you're going to buy someone new, you don't have Blastoise yet, definitely buy Blastoise. I would recommend it. Machamp, I'm going to keep in B. It's not a massive change. I'm going to go back to it now. They changed his stat spread, making him a bit more tanky. And they changed submission. Submission was definitely his best move. It sort of changes how you can play Machamp. You can have a lot more builds now. Submission is now kind of viable. I could see an argument for B+. I don't think it's amazing right now, but it's definitely a solid pick if you want to play him. Snorlax's block got a massive buff. And honestly, I think it's going to boost him into C tier. That block is probably the best part of his kit. Overall, he was kind of underperforming. Like I said, he was in D tier before. I think he's probably C right now. Pretty decent. Pretty much anything above B, I would definitely recommend. Anything in C is still really good. Anything in D, sort of just, yes, you can play them, but I just really wouldn't recommend it. And then there's Greedent. No. Umbreon got reworked, the stats overall changed for the worst. However, Wish and Foul Play got a pretty decent buff. I would say he was in B before. I think he's going to stay in B right now. This just sort of widens what Umbreon can do. You can play any kit now, for what I would presume. Of course, we don't actually know yet, but I think you would be able to play any kit now. Snarl and Mean Look were really good. Snarl Wish was really good. Not Snarl Wish, that's the same move. Mean Look Wish was pretty good. Foul Play and Snarl was pretty good. Now you can basically play any combination of each of the moves. Really solid pick. It could possibly go into B+. We'll see. Again, a reminder that this is for the lower ranks of the game, so you might be surprised by Goodra being so high. I covered it in my last video. Go and check. Just click on the video, find the Pokemon you want, just skip to it, do what you want, and I explain in more thorough detail about each Pokemon in that video. Espeon is going to stay up here. In fact, it's going to go in this new A+ tier. It's still really good. Of course, Stored Power was probably its best move, and so that does take a bit of a hit. Psyshock isn't bad. Unite move is still really good. The thing that made this Pokemon and all the other Eevees in this tier really so good is because they get a really good Power Spike early, they get the Unite move early, they do everything that other Pokemon do, but just get it faster. It's just really good. I would definitely run this Pokemon right now. I don't really think the Espeon nerf is really going to do anything. Moving on to Eldegoss. This is a really interesting one. They nerfed it pretty badly. The boosted attack is now a lot worse. Pollen Puff is a lot worse. And the Unite move is now changed so that the damage it does is dropped massively. It's now, I think they were talking about it in the other patch notes, where Eldegoss was meant to really only do healing for this move. The damage wasn't amazing, and so it's going to be a lot harder to secure objectives with the Unite move now. The slows are worse. The Pollen Puff is obviously worse. I'm going to say this bumps it. I'd say Bliss is probably A+, and yeah, this is low tier. I would say Blissey A, and this definitely bumps Eldegoss down to a B+ in my opinion. Pretty bad for this Mon. You kind of liked the secure that the Unite move gave to you. Pollen Puff is overall worse. Of course, there's other builds, but I think this is a pretty big hit for Eldegoss here. Crystal's buff was making the Unite move unable to be stunned when he was using it in its opening phase. I'd say it was probably around B before. Yeah, I'd say it's B+. It's pretty good. I mean, it kind of hurt him when he couldn't get. Crystal didn't really like Slow Beam. It kind of hurt it a lot. And overall, getting stunned while trying to set up the Unite move was a big pain. Overall, Crystal is still really good. I would say it's probably just B+ anyway, even without the buff. Really good Pokemon, would recommend. Mewtwo-wise, overall special attack got nerfed along with its teleport. I would say it was probably A+ before. I'm going to say it's still A+ in my opinion. So the special attack got nerfed, and the extra damage you got after using teleport got nerfed. I'd say I would definitely make an argument for A tier, but it's still a really strong Pokemon. I'd say it didn't really do much. Just keep it in A+. If you don't have range on your team, definitely pick Mewtwo Y. It's very strong right now. Azumarill probably stays about the same. Still just underrated Pokemon in my opinion. Pretty strong, not bad, not great, would recommend. And finally, Meowscarada. Meowscarada got an overall attack decrease. I would say this probably moves it. It's still really strong in the top tiers. Leafeon is probably just as good though right now. So I could see moving it here. I could see keeping it there. We don't really know how much this attack is going to change. I don't think it's going to do too much to Meowscarada. It still levels up really quickly. It's still got a massive power spike. It's got really good damage for a speedster. Unite move comes really fast. Really good damage for how fast it appears. Overall, really decent. Again, I don't think this changes too many Pokemon too much, but I feel like the Buzzwole nerf and the Eldegoss nerf definitely took a hit. That's going to be it for the patch update tier list. If you like this video, I've got a full tier list from the last patch in my last video if you want to check that out. I've also got a Blastoise video on screen if you want to watch that now. He is the best defender and I'll show you why in this video.